What's going on, gamers? I tell you what, there's always some drama going on in the PlayStation world, right? Like positive or negative or whatever. This one here is a problem for people who don't have security. Like I got business enterprise and all that stuff going on. So yeah, I'm pretty good. I also recommend Bitdefender on your, laptop devices highly, or desktop and phone. Bitdefender is the best. But here it says PlayStation podcaster, as we know Colin Moriarty, his account was hacked despite two-factor authentication protecting. Like, how'd that happen? Well, yeah, it's going to get interesting when you find this out, right? They're going to talk about some guy who lost $20,000 on his PlayStation Network digital library account. Oh man, I'm surprised this guy didn't become a terrorist and blow up PlayStation, GTA style. Oh man, that's crazy. But anyways, let me zoom in here a little bit so we can get to everything. Then we're going to get to his post. It says prominent sacred symbols, as we know that's his podcast. Host Colin Moriarty lost control of his PlayStation Network account to hackers who used his public PSN ID and basic transaction details to trick Sony support into changing his email and disabling two-factor authentication. I'm going to tell you guys right now, the best way to be 100% secure is to use passkey and use your thumbprint when you sign in on your phone or something. I'm telling you, you ain't changing that because there's no way around that. You know what I mean? You can't really, trick somebody with that. What you're going to do is that person's going to get exposed. This vulnerability reported since December 2025 has struck others like French journalist Nicolas Lelouch, I don't know what French, and Ohio gamer Peter Winsler, who lost a $20,000 digital library. That's crazy, but this is the crazy part that's coming up. With no fixes from Sony despite repeated incidents. Oh man, bro, I can imagine how angry that guy is. There's no way. Nah, bro. Nah, man. Let me get up real quick. Man, I'm gonna get up off the camera. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll be back on the camera. Guys, no. Sony, what are you doing here, man? This dude lost a $20,000 digital library. He's gonna hate PlayStation even in the afterlife. With no fixes from Sony, despite repeated incidents, Moriarty regained access only through industry connections and now urges gamers to hide PSN IDs publicly while pushing Sony for better verification. Look, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, passkey. You go on, you hit the passkey, and you go to your phone, hit the thumbprint, or somewhere you could do that, right? And if you have that, or like Face or whatever, then that's the only way you can get on and turn off the password until Sony resolves the issue. That's what I do. I mean, it's the best thing to do. And have a VPN over your PlayStation too. And do not click on stupid emails to get phished. That's why you need, like I said, stuff like Bitdefender and a VPN and with malware protection. You need that. Let's go over to his post though. This gets pretty interesting. Here is the full post here by him. He says, with the help of my friends and connections at Sony, I got my account back. But let's go back to the original story. My PSN account was hacked seemingly as part of an ongoing sophisticated series of moves against both random and prominent users, right? Indeed, I was told by someone a few days ago that I was going to be targeted. Interesting, somebody told him that. That's kind of weird. And he was right. He also was hacked. It says, Colin, I'm just warning you, they have your information and they are going to try and take your account today. He said, thanks for the heads up. I actually changed my password recently and I have two-factor authentication. So there's literally nothing else for me to do. It is what it is, as crappy as this can be. Hopefully nothing comes of it. I'm sorry again that you went through all of that, by the way. Just awful. Have a nice weekend, Colin. Some important information. I wasn't phished. Didn't click on any links. Didn't randomly put my password somewhere, etc. I'm completely positive of this. Or somebody is targeting you. You never know. You gotta watch out for the rootkits as well. Put a lock on your BIOS if you're on Windows and claim your hard drive and make sure you got that secured. At this time, this happened. Or if you want the best security, go to Apple. My email started getting spammed with hundreds of random emails from all sorts of groups. Yeah, you're being phished. Substack, EA, AliExpress, Slack, crap, I'm not even signed up for. Reddit too as well. They do a lot of phishing on Reddit, or use that. I then got a text message that my PlayStation Network email address was changed. Then I got a text message saying two-factor authentication was turned off. Frankly, how can any of this even be possible if someone isn't feeding information from the inside or has some sort of bespoke access to things? They shouldn't. Makes no sense otherwise. I don't want to speculate, but it seems like a pretty serious technical and security breach that's going on, and definitely somebody needs to be checked out. And I'm pretty sure Sony is doing that right now. So now they're on a high alert about this because this is going out, which is a good thing. So because this guy's in the mainstream, now it's going to become a huge thing for Sony to be aware of. They can't afford no PS3, nonsense going on again. PlayStation support United States was zero help. Call them out. Let's get this video up and going. Though the person I spoke with was perfectly nice, said my situation has to enter a queue. It will take a week for them to see if they can give me my account back. Damn. And they seem to not at all be interested that I was positively not phished, that my email address was randomly changed, that two-factor authentication was shut off, and all the rest. I did try to explain that I'm a prominent media person in the PlayStation space, and that I'm likely being targeted as well as a result. Though this has been happening to random people as well, as we've covered on Sacred Symbols all the way back in December. Like he was saying, because of that, he's being targeted as a result. They seem totally clueless about any of this, even though it's been circulating for months and people have already been targeted and been dealing with account issues. Needless to say, if I don't get my account back, I'm retiring from gaming and podcasting forever. So let's hope it all works out. In the meantime, be vigilant out there. Not that anything I could have done whatsoever would have stopped this. Oh yeah, I mean, that sounds like a serious stomach letdown. I think I know what feeling he had posting this. And he comes back down. P.S. Dustin was sent this from my hacked PSN account. It's fairly obvious, to me anyways, that there is some sort of insider access behind this. He told him, you're next. That's funny. How can Dustin be next if he has a password and two-factor authentication? Unless, yeah, there is something going on with that. I got this about a half hour ago. This is what the guy said. He told him, you're next. So they definitely have a problem. Interesting. More details for the curious. I spoke to my connections at PlayStation PR who helped me escalate, and to who I am thankful. Multiple friends at Sony-owned studios reached out to me unprompted to say they've also asked to escalate the situation internally through their own means. I even reached out to the mayor of gaming, my old pal Greg Miller, to see if he knew anyone who could help. He knows everyone, always has. I'm grateful for his assistance as well. I'm sure a voicemail from me was the last thing he expected. I totally appreciate the digital games argument, but I'll be real with you. I don't really give a crap about my library, in which I think I have like 700 games. I won't touch 99% of them ever again. I care about my trophies and save data, period. I understand I am an edge case in this regard, but felt like I should be clear why I'm actually bummed, so as to not be disingenuous. Whether or not I become a G.I. Joe YouTuber depends entirely on the outcome of this situation. I understand there are major advantages most people affected do not have. I acknowledge that fully. Update, I'll call support before I even talk to anyone at Sony that I know. They called me back just now as they said they would. I'm not entirely sure if it was because of my original call or because Sony people stepped in. Either way, they told me it will take 3 weeks for them to have any answers, which seems effing insane. They removed my credit card info, etc., from the account in the interim, but seemingly couldn't mass change the password and boot offers off in the interim. Okay, then, if I don't get my account back by tomorrow, I'll file with the Better Business Bureau, as has been recommended. I'd be more patient if it was my fault, if I was phished or clicked a bad link or otherwise did something. Then I'd be like, okay, I get it. But I did absolutely nothing, and in fact had an account with an alphanumeric password and two-factor authentication. That didn't matter. I'm telling them they have a serious breach, and that seems irrelevant. So I will oppress. This guy says someone who works with the support is selling access to these accounts. That's a good idea. So going back, here we go with the update. With the help of my friend and connections at Sony, I got my account back. I want to thank everyone for their kind words, advice, and direction. It meant a lot, so we got it back really quick. I fully know I exercised advantages due only and exclusively to my stature in the PlayStation community and many tethers to the mothership. They are absolutely not privileges many other people have. I simply must acknowledge that. With that said, I know this has been happening to a lot of folks over time. And we've even covered it on Sacred Symbols on a few occasions. I will dive deep into the situation on the next episode, but rest assured, I am already bending and will continue to bend the ears of who I can to hopefully help convince the powers that be that this is a real issue they have to contend with. Thanks again. There we go, guys. He got his stuff back real quick. Reddick says, glad everything got fixed in the end. Genki, glad it got fixed. I also had my account randomly hacked at the start of the year. I didn't have two-factor authentication then, though. Seems to be a big issue, even for normal accounts. And, you know, I think there's a lot of people that follow him and listen to him don't want that to happen either. I mean, he supports PlayStation a lot as well. As we see, this was a serious story. And I think with stuff like this getting out, Sony's definitely going to change some things around, probably do a firmware update, and also make sure that they need to check the insides of PlayStation support for weirdos who are selling out PlayStation accounts from the inside, and whatever else is going on, they're going to have to check the logs, check a lot of things and see what's going on here. Would you guys let me know what you think about this? There's definitely some interesting stuff going on with this. As I told you guys before, passkey is the way. There's no way nobody's going to be able to get around that. But if you feel like you're fine, I guess you can keep continuing if you ain't got to worry about weirdos coming after you. But you never know with people because they just want to get access to whatever they can and just to do it. But I think, like I said, go ahead and get that passkey set up and you don't really have anything to worry about because ain't nobody stealing your thumbprint and ain't no problem with a thumbprint because that's pretty much what it is. You know what I mean? And I think you should use biometrics for literally everything. I think we need to start moving into a future where everything is passwordless. So you have biometrics and two-factor after that, you know, multi-factor authentication. This is going to let Sony be aware of certain things. And I think it's good to have this type of stuff get this big so that it can get in their face so that they can acknowledge it and realize this type of stuff matters. So let me know what you guys think about this. As usual, like, comment, subscribe. We've seen PlayStation have some security issues. This is definitely not good. This is something they need to pay attention to. I'm pretty sure people want them to be secure. That's the good thing about Xbox. Security is definitely better, but Windows, no. Yeah, they have a lot of work to do. We've talked about that before with the rootkits and somebody doing run commands before you even pull up and sign into your device and claiming your hard drive. Though they've made things better with that. The BIOS should be locked. Nobody should be able to do that and pull up the command prompt except you, unless you give them access to do so. The commission should be claimed to the user that is turning on. The moment he gets on his profile, nobody should be able to do any of that. And that's what Microsoft needs to work on. If they can get secure like Apple, it would be a lot better. You can't even do BitLocker without a Windows account. On the Apple products, definitely on their laptops, you can do Firewall Vault, which is the same as BitLocker encryption, and you don't need a main account. I just need to make sure you have your firewall turned on. That's all that is. But yeah, hopefully everybody's account is safe. Later, y'all. Crazy situation.